My name is Dr. Megan Wilkerson, and in DC, I'm the Chief of the Pesticides Branch. I manage a team of 8, and collectively, we safeguard the health of DC residents and all the voiceless inhabitants. We conduct inspections, we certify IPM plans, and we also inspect child care facilities. I went to Fort Valley State University, and at Fort Valley State, I majored in biology. I graduated in 2011 with my Bachelor's of Science, and then I went on to FAMU, that's Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University in Tallahassee. At FAMU, I majored in agricultural science with a concentration in entomology. After graduating, I went on to Penn State, and I received 2 Ph.D.s, one in entomology and another in international agriculture and development. I thought I wanted to be an OBGYN. As I took more classes and I learned more things, I realized that I was passionate about so much. As I was at Fort Valley, I always remember I gave my all in all my assignments. I gave 110%. And it was then I took entomology, and that was when I fell in love with insects for the first time. I've never been a huge fan of bugs, but we had an assignment to collect insects. And so in my insect collection, I remember wanting to have the most diverse species. I wanted to have the most unique insects. I wanted to have so many different species and creatures. I turned into like Steve Irwin, collecting so many different insects. I had family members sending me roaches, collecting bees. I really put my all into collecting insects. And over the years, I've learned that insects are the most specious organisms on the planet. Insects are on every single continent. So all the questions you can answer, they're like limitless, the careers and possibilities. It enabled me to travel the world. I filled a passport studying with small farmers and collecting data on farms and studying insects and diseases. 70% of the world cocoa comes from West Africa. But unfortunately, farmers lose 80% of their yields to insect-related diseases. And once I traveled to Ghana, I collected my dissertation research working with farmers to limit insect-related decline. I interviewed countless farmers, and after every interview, I educated farmers on what beneficial insects and detrimental insects were. I also increased the toolbox farmers had by giving them alternatives to pesticides that were less toxic to the environment and less toxic to the farmers themselves. I also developed all the recommendations that I learned from field studies and presented this to the government of Ghana. I used all this to empower farmers, giving them access to information that was relevant and collected based on resources that were readily available. Asking an entomologist what their favorite insect is like asking a parent who's their favorite child. There's so many species of insects, but if I had to choose my favorite, I'd probably say ants. Ants work together and they form super organisms. They link their arms together and they can tread water, they can grow their own fungi. They're farmers within a farm. Ants are just remarkable. Ants are my favorite insect. If I wanted to talk to the youth that was interested in social justice, I would definitely tell them to choose a career in entomology. Insects are found on every single continent. And when you study agriculture, you learn about the culture. You learn about how different farmers or different people are affected by different diseases, insects. And these insects not only spread disease, they're also pollinators, they're also protectors, they're also farmers within a farm. So if you're interested in a career with impact, I definitely say choose entomology. The insects are everywhere.